All right, everybody, welcome to Humane Voices, the official podcast of the Humane Society of the United States. Harry and Austin here for our first time on Zoom for this week's episode. Carrie, it looks like we're venturing out different platforms every single time we record another episode, huh?
I know, right? It's our first time on Zoom, and it's half the country's first time on Zoom this past couple of weeks, right? I mean, so all of us get to be messing around with figuring out how to make our backgrounds more interesting. Like we'll talk in a minute to Kim, who is out there doing the Lord's work in terms of helping shelter animals and shelters all around the country. So I had these little guys. These are my two dogs who are at home. Sometimes one of them attends the meeting. Sometimes the other one attends the meeting. The little one is Floof, who I wanted to have on the podcast a couple of times, but he always threatens to bite me. And then Austin, I think you were sort of trying to mimic the general population in terms of what you have sort of stored up at home, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting on just like a gold throne right now in terms of supplies.
Right. Yeah.
So everybody's been getting mad, pretty angry and mad at me about it. But
don't be like Austin, people. Don't be like Austin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be the problem.
Yeah.
So
okay,
today
I'm so sorry, you guys. We got
Here's a reality of working from home that all of us are dealing right now. Some with kids, some with hairy kids. Okay, there go the hairy kids. There goes
getting rid of this.
Hi, hairy kid one.
Oh,
right.
hi.
Bye, little dude.
Oh my gosh, we got.
Oh, there's a collection of them.
Yeah, really. And that love
this makes this so much better.
This is a perfect lead-in to who we're chatting with today.
Exactly.
So Kim Album is our Shelter Outreach and Policy Engagement Director at the Humane Society of the United States. Perfect timing. We're so glad that we had the opportunity to sit down with you and chat a little bit about the situation going on. So Kim, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Hey, yeah. So, while we're of course always trying to definitely have fun in this podcast, we understand the gravity of the situation that's happening right now. We're trying to think of the people out there who are anxious, who are homebound. We're sick, we're bored.
We hope everybody who's listening to this is okay. I mean, it's a really scary time in a lot of ways, and it's hard to know day to day exactly how scared to be and what to do. I think a lot of us feel kind of helpless. But one of the great things about talking to Kim is that Kim is one of the people out there doing stuff that shows you that we're not helpless. And she's working with a whole bunch of other amazing people who are just making the situation better in lots of different ways.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Kim, you and your team work to create, nationwide partnerships, and you place thousands of animals who are victims of animal cruelty and natural disasters through these relationships. So how is the COVID-19 crisis affecting this work? What are you seeing? What's the landscape like?
This is like nothing that we've ever seen before. We deal with disaster on a regular basis, but when we deal with a hurricane or a tornado, it's concentrated. It's in one place. This is a nationwide disaster that's impacting animals and the people that love them and the people that care for them.
Yeah, it's global, really. I mean, I'm having lived in other countries, I'm seeing, posts from friends in Australia and, Europe who are also just homebound and dealing with their own kids and pets and trying to work. It's crazy. Like, just the scale of this is hard to even comprehend.
Yeah, the Humane Society International, I mean, I just can't even imagine what they're going through now. My responsibility is the United States, and I'm definitely not sleeping.
No, sorry, Kim. I hope you're able to get some sleep at some point, because, sleep is good for your health also.
Yeah, let's not get exhausted over there. So what are we focusing on right now? I mean, talking about kind of the regarding fostering and what's happening there.
One thing, before we get into the fostering thing, one thing that I wanted to ask about maybe is one of the things that a lot of communities, I think most communities now are dealing with, is the kind of shutdown of businesses and which businesses have been declared essential and non-essential. And from what I understand, it sounds like, thank God, animal shelters have by and large been declared essential. Maybe you can talk about that and what the impact is of that declaration on the work.
Sure. So that's one of the major experiences that we're having right now. So we are very fortunate at the Humane Society of the United States to have a state affairs team. So we have state directors in almost every state, which puts us in the very unique position of being able to navigate all of these official orders that are coming down. So we're keeping a very close eye on them and making sure that pets are included in there as essential. So veterinary clinics, animal shelters, any place where there's direct care of animals really needs to be declared essential. And then, of course, medical supplies and pet food.
Of course, yeah. So on the fostering thing, sorry, Austin, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
no,
you
no,
off,
that's good.
but,
Yeah.
like one of the challenges I think, and that Kim can explain a lot better, is that in a situation like this, especially with what's going on with not only people's health, but also with the economy, there are sudden major challenges to people who've been keeping pets in their homes. And some of those challenges end up falling to your local animal shelter to deal with.
I have to say that I have, in all of my time in animal welfare, I have never experienced anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same can be said for the shelters and rescues across the country. But here's what's emerging. There was a nationwide call out for fosters because what we wanted to do was get pets out of the animal shelters to make room in case people were starting to become ill and needed either a temporary place for their pets to stay, or people, were losing their homes and needed to surrender their pets. Like, this was a major concern. So first, we wanted to get the shelters empty to make room, and the call out to the community was incredible. I've never seen anything like it. There are thousands and thousands of pets that are in the foster care system now that we've never had this many animals in the foster care system. There are literally shelters across this country that have a waiting list for dogs and cats to come in so that people can foster them. The community just stepped up, and adoption as well. Richmond Animal Care and Control was reporting that they were having trouble keeping up with their foster failures. People were coming into foster, they were taking pets home, and then they were deciding to adopt. So even though we're in this really terrifying time right now, it's actually a good time to foster or adopt because many people are working from home, kids are home from school, and let's not forget that having a pet around and loving our pets it sort of takes away some of the anxiety that we're feeling.
Yeah.
Positive to focus on. And not only are you helping a pet by fostering or adopting right now, but you're helping a family that could be stricken with COVID-19. You're helping somebody who may need a temporary or permanent place for their pet to go. And so that's why we put out the call for foster to adopt, and it worked. And it taught us so much as an industry.
So what is it? So when you're saying about like what it's taught you as an industry, like what are some of the things that you feel like you're seeing right now?
I think that we're all shocked at the capacity of the community. And maybe this is going to change sheltering moving forward. Maybe there's going to be more focus on foster homes through the community animal shelter. Maybe we're going to look at, less capacity in the animal shelter, more community services, and more pets in foster homes. I can't say what it's going to look like when we get through this, but I can tell you that what I'm hearing across the industry is that there will be change.
Yeah. I mean, that's just really amazing. I mean, I think I've been seeing so much with everybody sort of trapped at home. It really says to you that, this is one of those situations where you can do good and also just get something wonderful out of it as well. I mean, there's so many people I think who've been posting about what a comfort they're finding in having their pets home with them. I mean, especially because we can't go out, we can't interact the way it's so natural for humans to do. Even if we see friends from far across the field, you have to wave and, pretend you don't have bodies, you can't give anybody a hug. It's so weird. And so having your animals close by and sort of sequestered with you is just such a comfort. And it's so great that people have been able to step up and kind of make a win-win out of this. So they're helping other people and helping the local community as well.
Have you been seeing the everybody is looking for things to do. So, we're all on social media and we're all looking at Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And, I don't know if you've noticed, but shelters are posting empty shelters. Staff is walking through and they're filming all of these empty runs and all of these empty cat rooms. And then at the same time, this is the other part that just is so incredible right now. What we're hearing from a lot of shelters is now they're turning their attention to the community. So those pets that were homeless and in the shelter are moved out. And now the focus is on keeping pets in homes that are already in homes. So we're seeing shelters that are working to make sure that people have food and medical supplies. There's a little bit of concern over veterinary services. There's an awful lot of animals out there in the foster care system now, and a lot of very smart people from the University of Wisconsin, University of Florida, HSUS, ASPCA, are all working together to figure out different ways to deliver veterinary care during this time when we're supposed to be staying at home. And again, yet another change. We're seeing the shelters out in the community trying to keep those pets in homes and finding solutions for them.
So Kim, have you been seeing other parallels from what's happening culturally, resources medically for humans versus, you were talking a little bit about veterinary resources too. Is there a parallel with any like food resources going out of stock or anything in regards to pet food or anything like that? Have you been hearing anything in that respect?
Well, truthfully, much like the toilet paper, a lot of people are running out and purchasing pet food, extreme amounts of pet food, so that others can't find pet food. I heard that you might be keeping a little bit too much at your place.
You know what? I'm really a cautionary tale as food and toilet paper goes. Nobody should be following along with what I'm doing, and I feel bad about it.
Not as he does.
I feel bad about it, but that's not the point. But anyway, sorry. Continue, please.
So essentially what's happening is that it's appearing like there's a food shortage because people are going out and they're purchasing large amounts of food that they don't necessarily need. And so then other people are going to buy their cat food and can't find the brand of cat food that they use. We have had conversations with large manufacturers of pet food, and they're saying that right now the supply is fine. It's just that people are buying it like crazy. So I think that we just need to remember that an essential service is the production of dog and cat food, and also grocery stores and pet stores that sell dog and cat food are remaining essential services. So it's going to be okay. We can get this food, but let's not take so much that others are going without because we feel like we have to have a closet full of pet food. I love my pets just as much as everybody else, but I want other people's pets to eat too.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, one thing that that makes me think about, when you're thinking about hoarding of supplies and stuff, I mean, I think with all the sort of escalated concerns around the virus, I mean, one of the things that maybe you are talking with some of the veterinary connections about is that people maybe, even those who want to foster or adopt, they may have concerns right now about whether it's safe. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that, like what's known right now. I mean, obviously one of the challenges right now is that this is a thing that is moving every single day, right? Every single day we find out something new. We found out, some information from before was maybe not exactly right. But what's the best information right now in terms of, is it safe to foster an animal? How should you be interacting with your own pets when they're at home in terms of cleanliness and things like that?
Our shelters are working very closely with veterinarians, the CDC, the AVMA. Again, just incredible minds are problem solving on this. And it is perfectly safe to get a foster pet or adopt a pet. You simply bathe them. Mm-hmm. This virus likes to live on a smooth surface, likes to live on your doorknobs, on your refrigerator, on your faucet. Fur is just not a good place for this virus to live. So what we want,
a little hairy guy like that guy, like a really floofy dog.
Yep.
Totally not like virus resistant.
We have no evidence right now that this virus is spread by pets.
That's good.
So I think I think that people need to simply bathe their pets. If you're out in the park and your pet accidentally slips off the lead and somebody else grabs your pet for you, or somebody pets your pet, or that you don't know, or if you think your pet may have been subjected to this virus, give them a bath.
Yeah, totally. Pets are not great about acknowledging that 6-foot barrier we're all supposed to be maintaining right now. Most of my dogs would prefer to be like literally up your nose rather than maintaining a 6-foot barrier.
Yeah, just keep them clean.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you decide that you would like to foster or adopt a pet that is from a home that may have been infected by COVID-19, unfortunately, we have seen some pets surrendered into the shelter in Washington this week whose owners have passed away.
Wow.
So the shelters know what to do. They're working closely with veterinarians, with the CDC. They know that they need to bathe that pet, and they know the amount of time that they need to keep that pet to ensure the community is safe before that pet goes out.
Good.
So fostering is obviously an extremely important way to help shelters who have pets in there. It seems like there's a lot more applications being sent in. Are there other ways that pet owners or animal lovers can help in this situation? Are there like shelters that have wish lists, or, I mean, if people are tight for money and don't necessarily want to only do financial aspects, are there other ways that we can help?
Absolutely. There's so many ways that you can help your shelters and your communities during this pandemic. And you know, at HSUS, we have the Pets for Life program where we do community outreach. And I can't even tell you how many times I've talked to our director of that program over the last couple of weeks, because our Pets for Life program applies across the board now,
Yeah.
right? So we want to be taking care of neighbors. We want to be staying in touch with people and by text, by phone, knowing if the vulnerable people in our community are safe or not. If they need our assistance, we need to know that. And shelters are part of that. Shelters are reaching out and making sure that that our vulnerable population has food for their pets. And if you live in a rural area and your shelter does not have the capability of doing that, that's okay. You can still help by checking in with Health and Human Services and seeing if you could volunteer your time to set food on doorsteps and walk away. We can social distance and still take care of our community.
Absolutely.
And it is just, the outpouring of community support is just really been staggering. And again, another change that I hope really sticks with us is that we always approach outreach in our community with kindness, compassion, and flexibility. And that's what this is all about. This is about making sure that we're all okay, all of our families, and our families include pets.
Absolutely.
If you have the ability to, if you have more in your house than you need, if you did buy that closet full of dog food.
Austin, looking at you. We see it.
Yeah. Austin,
I'm coming over. I'm breaking in.
Check in with your local shelter and see if they have people in the community that are vulnerable that could use that food.
Yeah. I'll make calls today. Thank you.
It looks like you could feed the whole community.
I could. Bethesda's going to eat great for the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be
or you
great.
could potentially feed just this one greedy beagle on my screen. You could eat one of those stacks in 24 hours.
He's been making eyes at me all episode, Carrie.
Look at those. Give me Austin. Austin. I'm the neediest dog in the community. That's what beagles do.
Yeah, I see it.
All right. Is there anything else that we should talk through, Kim? Anything else that you think people really need to know right now?
This is a really scary time, and I think information is everything. So people need to stay connected to their local community resources, stay connected with the Humane Society of the United States. We have produced a toolkit to help shelters through this time that is getting updated every day. We have put information out for the individual on how to help navigate COVID-19. And I think the most important message here is that, we will get through this together.
Yep.
We just need to stay connected.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that toolkit's on humanesociety.org, Kim?
It's on animalsheltering.org.
Got it.
For shelters and rescues.
Okay.
But there's information. I mean, the amount of information that's out there now is just really incredible. I think people just need to make sure that they stay with credible resources like the CDC, their state level emergency management, and those types of things.
Okay.
Absolutely. So if you're working for a shelter, our best information is on animalsheltering.org. And if you're just sort of out in the community with your pets, we also have some information for individuals and citizens on our main website, hsus.org. Floof says hi. Hello, everybody. Stay safe.
Oh, Floof.
Yep. Yep.
It was
Yep.
like, yeah.
No social distancing happening with Floof. It's just not going to happen.
Hard to social distance with your pet. I mean,
Yes, it is. And thank God for that. Thank God we don't have to do that yet.
I know. I wish they had understood social distancing a little better.
Yep. Nope.
All right. Well, that's Kim. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today. Again, Kim Album, Shelter Outreach and Policy Engagement Director at the Humane Society of the United States. Please stay safe, and we'll continue to be updated.
Yeah, we may bring you back.
on information. What's that?
We may bring you back soon, Kim. Don't think
Yeah.
you escape from this forever.
We might.
My pleasure. It's fun spending time with you.
Yeah, so you can also message podcast@humanesociety.org and send us your reactions, questions you have, and topics that you want to hear for our next episode. And that's all we have for today's show. Again, be sure to follow HSUS and HSI on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the website humanesociety.org for the latest. That's what we have today. Thanks again.
Stay safe, everybody.